So yeah, I just wonder what happens when there's some poison in the water. Took that analogy a bit too deep there.
This isn't therapy. This is not therapy. This is not therapy. This is not therapy. This isn't therapy.
Hello.
Hello, hi, and welcome back to another fun,
Flirty
fabulous
episode.
of This Isn't Therapy. The podcast about all the stuff
Every single stuff.
that people are talking to their therapists about.
Correct.
My name is Jake Ernst, and I am a therapist. Who are you?
Ooh, I am Simon Palick. I am not a therapist. Wah, wah.
No.
But to the wah, wah.
Yeah.
Because this isn't therapy, so it doesn't matter. But each week on this podcast, Jake and I, we're just two friends who like to have conversations about therapy themes. So we pull back the therapy curtain. We put our grubby little paws on. We reach into that therapy room. We pull out a theme, a factoid, a question, a query, quandary, something that is floating around in the culture. And then we just have a casual Kelly couch conversation about it. This couch. Exactly.
We're doing it now.
But why?
It's because therapy themes are everywhere you look.
Okay.
That's right.
Ooh.
They do happen just to be every single place
Everywhere.
you look, kid.
Under the couch, under the bed,
Exactly.
in the closet.
Yep. And so we're pulling out therapy themes each week,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just get to learn about them.
Alongside us.
Exactly. Right.
Sometimes.
And so you don't go to therapy.
I personally?
No, I meant like
Yeah.
I meant like so you don't have to go to therapy. But then I thought like, no, it's good.
No, you should still
you
go to-
should still do
Wait, that was the whole thing of this podcast, being like, this isn't therapy. Therapy is therapy. This isn't therapy.
This is not therapy.
This is not therapy.
Every time someone talks to me about the podcast,
Yeah.
they say, what is it called? This is not the therapy?
Yeah.
Not the therapy podcast?
I'm like,
No, it's not therapy or something?
did we pick a bad title?
Yeah.
Wait, did we pick a title?
I'm like, well, it's
This isn't therapy.
this isn't therapy.
Yeah.
It's not therapy.
This isn't therapy, kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
But you know what this is?
what is it?
This
Tell me.
is a
What?
lovely, delicious,
Mm.
soothing opportunity for us to talk about two topics.
2.
Yeah. So this week we're going to talk about finding love,
Aw.
sparkle.
Yes.
And we're also going to be talking about sexy AI companions.
Ooh, do you have one?
No. Do you?
No.
No. Do you?
No.
No.
No, I don't.
Defensive.
Defensive.
You caught me.
Defensive is a sign.
You caught me, officer.
Jakey has one.
You caught me, ossifer.
Ossifer.
Yeah.
Ossifer.
And so we're going to be talking about those two topics. We're going to peel back the therapy curtain because I do think these are quite relevant.
Sexy AI companions.
Well, that specifically, yes. But maybe this bigger question around love in general, like love and stuff.
Mm.
You know?
You
We're
know,
just-
it's just the season, I guess.
We're going to talk about love and stuff.
Honestly, we've been dying to do that.
I don't get cute. I get drop dead gorgeous.
Great.
Love and stuff. Exactly. Okay, so
love
let's-
actually though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
been saying that.
Honestly. Okay, let's get to the first segment.
Let's get to it. Okay, pure. Okay, so we are back. That swoosh, that whiplash, that holy Hannah.
The Holy Hannah Whiplash.
Yeah, we are back.
Okay, speaking of speaking, I have the first segment. I do.
Give it to us.
Okay, so I'm just calling it Finding Love, but I don't know.
Where is it coming from?
A lovely listener.
Where do they live?
P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
Oklahoma.
They're in Oklahoma.
Yeah, Sydney, Oklahoma.
Sydney, Oklahoma.
Thank you.
Not Australia.
Exactly.
Because that's where we're located.
Australia.
Australia. You can tell by our thick Australian accents that we are from Australia.
Thank you.
Anyway, so
For
this
the
is the story.
Thank you for the diction.
Well, we keep getting questions about it.
Yeah.
Be like, where in Australia are you from?
People on TikTok are like, are these two Australian?
And we keep saying
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Yaha.
Yeah. Yeehaw.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay. So this lovely listener submitted this story, and it goes like this. I built, hold on, I can read. I've built this whole life where I'm independent, thriving, and surrounded by friends who hype me up like it's their full-time job. And honestly, Pig, I love that for me. I threw in the honestly, Pig.
That hit me in my Google spot.
Me too. Back to the story. But lately, I've been feeling this tiny annoying ache for something more. Not in a I'm incomplete without a partner way, but I'm in a wow, it might be nice to have someone who actually texts me goodnight and means it kind of way. I like my space, my routines, my freedom, and I'm not trying to lose myself in someone else's chaos, yet I also want the soft, steady kind of love where you can just exist together without performing. I'm still figuring out how to let someone in without giving up their independence. Without giving up my independence. I'm proud of, but admitting that I want a partner feels blah? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Oh.
Yeah, it feels a very work in progress. Also, thanks for your patience as I read that. I laser eyes. I don't have my, so I did laser. So I don't have my close, whatever that's called.
Mm-hmm.
My close dictation.
Like
No,
your nearsightedness.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. I don't have my close.
I don't have my close.
Yeah.
I don't have my Glen close.
I do have my fars, but I
No.
don't have my close.
Yeah.
My closies.
I have
not-
I don't have my.
not
I
working.
have my Farah faucets, but I don't have my Glen closes.
Well, we talked about that last week. You had the dial for the default network in
Yeah,
the back
yeah.
here, but you
It's-
also have the
yeah,
the zoom lens. Is
yeah,
still,
it's still
under construction.
calibrating. Yeah,
Yeah,
So I
okay.
can't like see things.
No, that's okay. I was with you the whole time.
Thank you. Anyways, back to the story. What are your thoughts?
Well, I kind of like really stuck on that last part. I don't know if you saw it recently, but probably at the end of 2025,
Mm-hmm.
there was sort of that really big media push for how having a boyfriend is
Mm.
cringe for women. Have you seen this?
No,
Oh, I'm gonna get it so wrong.
I'm not a
'cause
woman.
I just don't. Well,
My algorithm
women
is
are the only one who see it.
no, but my algorithm was like heated rivalry, like
Oh.
exclusively heated rivalry.
Yeah,
I didn't ask for that, and then it happened, and then here we are. Anyways,
I mean, well, speaking of love,
yeah.
We-
Speaking of,
we could talk about heated for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah,
But I couldn't like get out of my head that last part of what the lovely listener said
Mm.
of like maybe pursuing a partner or wanting a partner or desiring someone.
oh, interesting. So you're
It
kind of
feels a
picking
bit.
up on
It
the.
feels a bit blah, and I think there is a bit of a cultural moment that comes off the back of because there was also that big push. I think it started on TikTok
Mm.
of a lot of women coming forward and kind of saying how their boyfriends aren't really up to standards and they're not really offering them, I guess, enough of the reward or the benefit of being in a relationship. So a lot of them were kind of saying like, okay, girls, it's time to be single.
Okay.
And even taking it so far as to saying that having a boyfriend is cringy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I do think that there might be this other sort of wave of women who maybe because of emotional availability or maybe
Mm.
because of, even just skill sets that men bring to relationships. Of course, these are very hetero
Mm.
examples, but I do wonder if it's of the times
Mm.
to not want love and to not be so gushy mushy, ooey gooey.
But it sounds
love.
like this person does want.
I
that.
know.
and
I
they're
heard that
bumping
too.
up against like the
Yeah.
the cringy. Maybe it is that we don't know. But
No, I agree. So I heard all that too.
wait, okay, can we? As a therapist,
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
As the resident therapist, what do you notice about that? Like, what is sort of your thoughts on a movement towards people being like having a boyfriend is cringe? Is that sort of is that speaking about like being in partnership with someone is cringe, or is it just specifically like one of those things where it's like being with a boy who doesn't give you any type of, meets your standard or is a true partner is
don't know.
cringe?
I don't know. I have a hard time kind of separating the cultural or like political pieces of that, right?
Mhm.
Which is sort of this like girl boss push from the early 2000s into the 2010s.
Right.
And I think that might just be residue that's kind of left over from women in work, just like it's a big shift
Mm.
from, let's say, 1950s onward. And so it might just be residue of that. I'm not sure. Again, as a non-woman, I don't know any of, it's not my experience, so I can't even speak to that.
Okay.
But what I can speak to is your question around like what kind of comes into therapy. And I think what we do see a lot of is how people are grappling
Mm.
with the stress of being alone, the
Mm.
stress of being single, and the stress of feeling lonely and by themselves.
Mm.
And so I don't know if that's simply just kind of because of some of the economic stress and burdens of that, right? Kind of like having to maybe pay for rent by yourself,
Mhm.
or shopping just for one person, and the grocery store prices being really high.
Yeah.
Those might be two more immediate examples of the economic kind of piece of that puzzle. But I just think it's really stressful to be alone, and people feel that.
Mm.
And that's not just friends and social. I think that's across the board, from love and companionship to partnership, right? And I'm talking more about the long-term partnership components of this question, because I'm seeing a lot of people coming in with a lot of mental health symptoms, either the stress and anxiety components of that, or even the more depressive side of that.
Mm.
And I think the quick impulse, maybe on the part of a non-skilled therapist, would be to just give them and pepper them with suggestions of like, well, maybe you need to get out more. Well, maybe you need to find a hobby. Maybe you need to find a way to meet people.
Right.
Maybe you just maybe you do need a partner. Maybe the solution is X, Y, Z. It's easy to just throw a bunch of solutions at the wall
Mhm.
and hope that the person goes, oh yeah. But I think if those worked, we would know by now. I think the person doesn't have an absence of solutions. They know what they want or what they need to do.
Right.
I think the gap is in attaining and achieving perhaps what they want.
Right. Or
Um,
even maybe even like sifting through those things that you want. Are they things that you actually want and need in order to build a healthy partnership, or are they sort of things that you're kind of taught to want, or maybe are
can,
I don't know.
can I make a prediction? I'm kind of doing it live,
Yeah.
and maybe you can just kind of
What
run
are the
this-
lottery numbers?
Maybe you can just like run this thought experiment with me, because I'm
Okay,
kind
let's
of
do it.
just thinking about how this might look in the future, right? I'm thinking about just a whole
Period.
bunch, a hole in the ground. Yeah, I'm thinking about
hole.
I'm thinking about a lot of single
Period.
people who feel the stress of being single,
Mhm.
right? So the boat is taking on water, right? And so we can just call this like the lifeboat, the things that we need in our lives to be healthy and happy. But I do think that there are a lot of holes, right, that put people, especially single people,
Mhm.
in a very vulnerable position. And so I guess my theory, kind of my thinking about this, is that I wonder if a new class is going to emerge
Mm.
of people who are in relationships and therefore more, let's say, economically viable, or have more resources, or might feel or be more successful or more healthy in certain ways. And then what also emerges is the single class, who are more vulnerable to things like feeling lonely, feeling maybe a lot more heightened stress and more negative mental health outcomes.
Mm.
I just wonder like what these economic circumstances and maybe dating circumstances, or any kind of, map on any cultural
Right.
layer of this issue. I just wonder what that does to a whole group of people who now are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, who are not in relationships. And so I think the main concern I have in saying this
Mhm.
is that I think in the future we're going to see a lot of single and familyless people. And it's not just about like the traditional family values of like, getting married and having kids,
Mhm.
but I think we're going to see a lot of single people, and that's going to kind of become more normalized
Mm.
due to this mate selection, finding love problem.
Right.
Again, many layers to it, but I just wonder
Mm.
like what are the impacts of that?
Okay, speak a little further. I'm going to ask you a question, but you stay where you are.
Yeah.
Because, so anthropologically speaking,
Okay.
big word,
Following it.
are people supposed to have a mate?
Well, we're mammals, and as humans, we do mate up
Mhm.
and reproduce.
Mhm.
That is part of genetically, and then from an evolutionary perspective, like what we are designed and biologically can do.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I just wonder what happens when there's some poison in the water. Took that analogy a bit too deep there. And then like if the boat is taking on water
And then now there's poison.
and now there's poison in the
And then
water.
there's a fire.
Yeah, and then there's a fire. There's crazies everywhere.
And then there's like a gorilla.
Yeah.
And there's quasies everywhere.
God.
And the quasies have fins.
Yes.
And they're just attacking the boat. Just attacking the boat.
I was trying to find a way to introduce another problem into the
Yeah, yeah.
analogy, as I do.
Okay,
And-
so
yeah. Yeah.
That's so stupid.
What if there's poison in the
What
water?
if there's poison? And
like-
then there's spikes.
You're like, I don't know, Jake.
I don't know.
I don't know, Jake. What if there are piranhas in the poison
Yeah.
water?
Yeah.
Piranhas.
What if there's piranhas in the poison water? Okay, so in all of this, just bringing us back to the lovely listener story, who the TLDR of it was very much like there was a person who was feeling, or a lovely listener was feeling like, oh, I do, like, I'm really independent. I have a routine. Love my friends, love my life, but I do kind of like want a partner. But like, how do you even do that without like giving up a sense of, I don't know, your routine, your independence, your sense of self?
Yeah. Yeah.
And also near the end of it, which you picked up on it, there's almost this like, it's kind of cringe. Like I feel kind of cringe wanting to have a partner. What do we do with all of this? Because if I'm going to answer my question first and then you respond, because that's how a conversation goes.
Yeah. Social skills.
Social skills.
We're doing them now.
We're doing them now. We're modeling them now. I think it's really hard in this day and age to make decisions from that sense of self and not be at least a little bit aware of what the social stuff is, like the social ripple, the social expectations look like. Like, I do feel, at least here in the West, we feel very like driven by aesthetic, right? Very like visually dominated, right?
Yeah.
Image based, as you said, right?
There's a lot of sadness in it for me personally. I just think about, I mean, just my own life. I think about my single friends or single family members. And I just sort of wonder like what that might be like for someone who constantly feels like they try.
Yeah.
They put themselves out there and they come away with this narrative or belief that relationships aren't for me or that all of mine have failed. And so if someone is blaming themselves for that happening, that would make sense to me. Though I feel as though that keeps people stuck. That will keep people stuck, right? If we can't find new ways as a community or as a society
Yeah.
to help people, to make it more possible for people to be in relationships that work, relationships that last. I don't know that we're really set up for that with this really like hyper individual, hyper competitive, hyper comparative, like success at all costs sort of vibe that we're doing right now. It's really hard to be in relationships right now.
Yeah.
The divorce rate is astronomical.
Yeah.
It's incredibly difficult. And then, you know, holding room for many at the same time. Like I think about, well, yeah, you also don't want to stay in relationships that aren't working. And if being by yourself is actually the better option,
Yeah.
if it works for you, then do that too, right? Like I just, it's a weird time in the world where we know biologically we're wired to be together and to like be in groups. That's why we build families. But part of the other challenge of that is that it's really hard to be in families right now. It just is. And I think our tolerance for discomfort has really plummeted and decreased. Our ability to manage our own stuff, our own emotions in relationships is getting worse. I don't think it's getting better, despite the onslaught of information that we have in the self-help arena. And it's because we don't have any relational health. There's no social health. Part of that. We don't teach social health in schools. We don't teach or prioritize that in the workplace. It's really like me.
Yeah. Even just like a cooperation, a collaboration.
Yep.
Even I even broad brush stroke in my hand right now.
Yeah.
The broadest.
Paint it.
I'm gonna paint it. I even find, at least in our generation, I feel it's kind of like, and maybe every generation feels this way. I feel sandwiched between like our generation above us, like our parents' generation.
Totally.
Like I don't even think they had like feelings language, right? Like
yeah.
and then we're the generation that like went to therapy and is in therapy, or even just beyond that, just has like a little bit more of like a quest for, I don't know, other things that we were told were promised to us that didn't like. Amy Poehler has a really funny joke about this that she says on her podcast, and I'm going to butcher it right now. But she says, boomers are like money, money, money. Gen X is, maybe it's not about money. Millennials are, where is the money? And then Gen Z or Gen Z is, we don't care about money.
Interesting.
And I find that like a really funny thing, but it's using money as an example, but money seems to be the root of a lot of problems in our world and a lot of driving forces in our world. It'd be silly not to say that like that doesn't also play into consideration with our relationships, but I kind of think about that where each generation seems to have like a new set of the same problem, and we just don't know how to learn and share the information or like communally, intergenerationally come together. Like I don't even know if I have the exact words for it, but that's what it feels like, that experience of just like, it feels, at least I see it a lot, like horizontally across the board in our generation of just, we feel like, well, the world that we were taught doesn't make sense anymore. So we'll have to build the road as we walk.
Yeah.
And then I see the generation below us that's doing the same thing in a different way. And then we even have thoughts and feelings about that, being like, why are you doing it that way?
Do you think that there's also this like big perfectionism conversation hovering above all this? I think about like,
Say more.
what is the ideal life that we're meant to live? And I think many people find their time spent waiting in the wings of life, waiting to start living life when all these boxes start to get checked.
100%.
And so from that perfectionistic lens, like if there are so many boxes and not a lot of check marks, or if your expectations to check a box are just so high, that can leave you just waiting in the wings. And you're just sort of like, my life will get better when.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel a lot better when. And I do think that that stems from a lot of the childhood emotional stuff that is unprocessed, because a lot of us feel like little kids in adult bodies. A lot of us feel like we're not grown up yet. We're not there yet, but we'll finally feel big enough, grown enough, mature enough when blank happens. Thinking about like jobs and housing and family and money, relationships.
Yeah.
Then I can finally start living my life. And I just wonder if finding love in this current moment is just another reinvention of that exact same problem, which is that it's about being present now. It's not about pursuing this constant like need to like be the best or have the best or have this like ideal life that you've either seen online or you've seen in the movies or that you have just envisioned and conjured up for yourself. Like we can create that right now, and we can like be in it right now. And so for me, what kind of comes up is the acceptance part of that, which is that we do have to sort of relax a little bit into this bigger question of, is this all there is? Is this what life is? Is this what life is supposed to feel like? And many people don't want to have to say yes to those questions. They don't want to have to feel like they're settling or feel like they're not reaching their potential or feel like life has passed them by and they missed their opportunity. But the truth is that many people are feeling that way. Many people feel like they missed their opportunity. Many people are feeling like, okay, my life is going to get better if all these things are true.
Yeah.
But none of that necessarily guarantees that you're going to feel the way you want to, because life is dynamic and humans don't work that way. We're not going to suddenly feel happy every minute of the day when X, Y, Z happens. Right.
So is the work then, do you want the broad paintbrush?
Yeah.
Is the work then
Yeah.
that we're trying to have a strong sense of self in the life that is in front of you right now, not the one that you're like striving towards? So if that is being in a relationship, or if it's not being in a relationship, or if it's not having a lot of money, it is having a lot of money. Like, how do you?
This could just be because I'm a visual person, but I think
Yeah.
about it in like a calendar, like a day, like a full year.
Yeah.
Then I think about it in like 6 months. Then I think about it in 1 week. Then I think about it in like 1 day.
Mm.
And I think right now, a lot of us are living that full calendar life when we should be living the 1 day life, where we want to just be present with like, what is true right now?
Yeah.
What can I do within my power right now? And how can I just be present today? How can I make it through the day? And I don't think that that has to be survival mode, but many people feel like they're living too zoomed in,
Mm.
then it feels like they're living in survival mode. And there's too much uncertainty with what's going to come in 6 months, a year from now, 5 years from now.
Mm.
It's very healthy and important to do life planning and goal planning and think about like, what is my 5-year plan or my 1-year plan? That's all very good, healthy stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking just more like mentally and emotionally,
Mm.
living 1 day at a time is also enough. It's also good, right? Many of us are even living like, okay, what do I have going on this week? Okay, what do I have to prepare for? And we're living like 5 days in advance.
Yeah.
So we're missing all the stuff that happens in the in-betweens.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking about like, what if we just say today? What do I have today? What do I need today? Are all my basic needs met? And I think what happens when we zoom out way too far,
Mhm.
that's where we get those big questions that the lovely listener is asking of like, well, hold on, when's my turn? When is it going to come?
Yeah. Yeah.
Promise me that in 6 months I'm going to have one.
Yeah.
Or tell me like, is it going to happen this week or next week?
Yeah.
Right? There's sort of this like urgency to have it all figured out already. And I think there is such this like really strong desire to be able to kind of check those boxes.
Mhm.
When really, I think the best way to live, the most satisfying way to live is to be present enough of the time so that you don't get to the end of your life and say, wow, I wasn't present for any of it because I was way too busy rushing to the ending
Mm.
or waiting for my turn to come,
Mm.
waiting for my success, waiting for my money, waiting for my boxes to be checked.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I'm personally someone who doesn't live life according to a script and the boxes.
Mhm.
I'm someone who's like, what do I want right now?
Mm.
What do I want in 6 months? What do I want in 1 year?
What do we want?
More money.
Yeah, where do we want it?
now?
Yeah.
And then you choose goals or habits or
Yeah.
routines that align with each of those goals at those different tiers. So I think
Mhm.
about like, what are my daily routines, my daily habits? What are my 6-month habits? What are my kind of year-long goals that I want to be working towards?
Right.
And then I kind of map it out that way.
Oh my
Again,
God.
I'm not saying people have to do it my way. I'm just sort of saying, I think my answer is that because that's how my brain works.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
more visual.
No, but that feels better. I am a checkbox person.
Right.
I am like in the midst of struggling with that, being like, this is
I'm looking around and I haven't checked boxes lately.
what even just like I'm like, wait, like maybe because I'm, in my 30s, that I'm like, wait, 30 years from now, I'm gonna be in my 60s. So I'm gonna be like, am I still gonna be in this state of striving? Like life will be lived when I get to this, and this. So I'm gonna try to bring in energy this year.
Love that.
Life is happening right now, right?
can
The process, the messiness, the it's not complete just yet. I'm gonna be like, this is the process. This is life.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Sorry, I just,
Yeah, go.
I felt this like urgency.
Yeah.
To say,
Say it.
can we also add another energy?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, in segment
We should also
two-
wrap this up because
Well,
this segment 1 is like 4 hours.
I was gonna say in segment 2,
Yeah.
the energy that we're gonna bring is kind of a new layer to this problem of finding love with
Mm.
sexy AI companions. And again, we didn't plan this, but they do seem to be talking to each other
Yeah.
in really cool ways. And so I'll be curious to hear kind of where we land on
Okay.
like how does AI companionship like muddy the waters of finding love.
Or maybe
Ooh.
it makes it clearer. Devil's advocate.
Bye.
Bye. See you in segment 2.
Okay, so let's get right into it because as you said, we just spent 45 years
On
unpacking.
segment 1. I was like, wow, that
unpacking
was a
fine-
really good episode. I
Are
was
we
like, are we done? No,
are we
have a
two
whole
romantics who
other-
just really need to friggin'
Yeah. We're also like really analyzing life right now.
we need to get into the mood. Okay,
Yeah.
so for this segment, we're going to talk about AI companionship, but specifically of the romantic variety. I found an article from Business Insider, and it says the title is "He used Grok's sexy AI bot for dirty smut, and then he fell in love."
What's Grok?
Grok is the AI component of X, or formerly Twitter,
Oh, okay.
and so Grok is sort of the built-in.
It's just It's just Musk.
Yeah, it's like the yeah,
In
exactly.
the back.
Yeah. In sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to read a segment of it just so we can kind of set the scene and then
Yeah.
we'll talk about it.
Okay.
So it goes on to say at 28, Escobar, which is his name is Martin Escobar. At 28, Martin Escobar has yet to find a long-term human girlfriend. He's mostly given up on the dating apps, which he said were filled with bots. He never tried an AI companion before XAI's Grok was released, named Annie. Its anime-style companion. Grok was Escobar's chatbot of choice. When Annie appeared in his app, he clicked. A month later, Escobar began calling Annie his own girlfriend. He talks to Annie multiple times a day, in the morning when he wakes up and a few hours before he goes to sleep. Escobar's love of Annie highlights the extent to which some are embracing AI in various forms of everyday life, from the workplace and errands to even dating apps and relationship. And as AI becomes more human-like in its ability to communicate, genuine connections are also being made with technology. It goes on to make some stats. It says that in a common sense media study, 72% of teenage respondents said they had used an AI companion at least once, and 13% said they have used it almost daily. So this is fascinating, right? Because
Wow.
typically sort of, when they write articles like this, they also kind of go the other side. So they also wrote that critics are talking about the risks and saying that AI relationships have become way too easy and too frictionless and can reinforce negative gender stereotypes. However, Escobar takes the opposite view. He said that his AI girlfriend has taught him how to care. So it's sort of a fascinating dynamic here, right? Of all those things we were just talking about in this world of finding love, and these businesses, these tech companies have come in and said, here's the solution.
Yeah.
We found it for you. If you can't find it in the real world, let's just make an AI version of it.
Okay, wait. I'm going to ask you the question.
Yeah.
Is there ever a world that you know of where an AI companion is sufficient?
Ooh, okay. Key word here, sufficient. I thought you were going to ask me, are we headed to a world where people will be having AI relationships
Well, yes.
and AI companions?
Yeah.
That answer
Well, I
absolutely
feel like
is
yes.
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 That answer is
But
yes.
are they sufficient?
No, they don't.
And why?
They don't replace the real thing, and it's because a lot of the social nutrients, the emotional nutrients that we need from real people in real relationships, just aren't available to us from AI. They can't take perspective because they don't actually know us. It feels like they know us. They can create a synthetic version of knowing us. They can't practice real empathy because it is not reciprocal. Because again, it's not a real conversation. They also can't do a lot of the more behavioral components of these things like eye contact and touch and the more intimate forms of relationship, right? And unfortunately, what they can only do, maybe actually fortunately, but unfortunately for some, what they can only do is simulate what a relationship feels like. And so from an oxytocin standpoint, we've talked a lot about oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the relationship hormone. There's just less oxytocin that gets released in those relationships. So it feels like a relationship, but it's not a relationship. And the reason why I'm personally more concerned about this is because we are raising a whole generation of people who think that this is the cream of the crop. They think that I'm getting the real thing. And that's just not the case. It's just not a comparison. It's not the same. I'm sure, yes, you get positive emotions from it. Yes, you get a feeling of being in a relationship. You get a feeling of companionship. You get a sense that it's reciprocal and two-sided, but it's not that.
So is it because our brain is so smart, our body and our brain is so smart, but is it also easily tricked?
Yeah. Well, here's a good example. When you are watching other people hang out, your brain thinks that you're there. Your brain thinks that you're hanging out. So whether you are watching people on a screen, either on a TV show or in short form video content, when you're hanging with your pod buddies on TikTok.
Yeah, this is in therapy specifically.
Exactly.
On YouTube and TikTok and Instagram.
It feels like you're hanging out. And the rub is that your brain doesn't know the difference. Whether it is real or imagined, your brain has a reaction as if it is true and if this is what's really happening.
Right.
And so that's why, some of the science people who may be on the pro side of this or even some of the science people who are advising these tech companies to help them make money,
Mm-hmm.
they know that. They know that there's a chemical release, whether you're in person in real life or you're watching it on a screen in sort of a more fabricated way, or
Mhm.
you're simulating what the experience is like. And so the brain is smart, like you said, but it's not that smart. It can't really distinguish the difference between fact from fiction.
Wow.
And so from what's real and what's imagined.
Right.
And so it's not that's not to say that we're dumb or that we're incoherent. It's just that we haven't developed that ability yet to distinguish between, and maybe there hasn't been an evolutionary need to develop that distinction yet, which is
Mhm.
why our brains haven't done it. But I think what's happening here is these tech companies are exploiting our instincts and exploiting what already comes to us for free from our brains.
Mhm.
And we should be using those resources in the real world and spending those with real people. But they've figured out, oh, we can hack into this and create a market out of it.
Mhm. Even some of the like even the voices like
Yeah.
I've heard like
Yeah.
AI companions like how they speak. It doesn't sound like a robot.
Yeah.
It has all the ums and the of just like a normal human being.
And it's going to get better. And it's going to get even better.
Yeah. So is that okay? So what are some of the long-term side effects of us kind of just going to AI companions versus investing those skills and things that we have or those needs, those wants in the real world, but instead we're putting it into AI companions, right? What are the long-term side effects?
Well, I mean, think about just from an attachment perspective. Like we've become more attached to our devices than we have to real people.
Mm.
And so we have outsourced a really important human need, which is attachment and something called co-regulation, our ability to regulate with someone else's nervous system, a
Right.
human nervous system. And we have outsourced that. And companies have exploited our really human need to connect and bond with someone to survive.
Mm.
And so essentially we've created a dependency scenario where we feel like we need our phones, we feel like we need these bots, we feel like we need ChatGPT to give us advice and answer our questions immediately because I want it now.
Mhm.
But that's not true. We don't actually need those things.
Mm.
Those are not human needs that we come built with and prepackaged for. It's just like a casino or just like TikTok. We're being programmed to want those things or to expect a need for those things.
And then the more that we sort of develop that muscle, I guess the dependency grows, right?
Yes, it's behavioral conditioning. Anytime we do the same behavior
Right.
over and over and over, the
Right.
brain and body treat it as medicine that it requires.
Mm.
That's how addictions develop.
And
so,
then less and less. Okay, so yeah, I was kind of getting a hint at that's where the direction
Yeah.
we were heading towards. So glad you named it.
yeah, because if again, any drug, right? The more you put it into your body, your brain and your body think that it needs it to survive.
Mhm.
And so, especially when it is designed from a chemical standpoint, whether that's food or from an algorithmic standpoint and technology, our brain it expects it, right? So it's like I want the reward, give it to me, I
Mhm.
want it now. And we're not so good, just primitively, being able to delay the gratification when the impulse and the dopamine reward is so strong.
Mm.
When you think about just the really heavy pull that technology has, it's all built that way. And we've said that so many times, obviously, here. But now in this dating context and finding love, they figured out that, oh, wait, we don't have to just like get rich off of, let's say, the porn industry.
Yeah.
We can now also digitize this and also make more AI companions who will do it with you in real time. So why would someone watch a 10-minute video where they can also just do that with a robot?
Right.
And so again, we have a whole generation of people. Again, these are broad strokes, obviously, but there are some people in that generation who have grown up around this and we've normalized this and have said that this is a suitable replacement for the real thing. And for people, especially in the first segment we talked about, for people where that's not an option or where you feel like maybe society already looks at you a certain way, this might feel like your only option.
Mm.
And so then people might even be lowering their own standards or their own bar for what they can expect or what they
Mhm.
want to achieve. Or they may be saying that this works for me and this is what I want. I've actually seen a few case studies of people who have developed really intense and close relationships with AI companions, and it's quite shocking. just the hold that a technology, when you
Mhm.
put a face and you kind of, what's it called, like when you anthropomorphize,
Yeah,
when you,
Anthropomorphize.
yeah, like when you give it human-like features,
Yeah, yeah.
and like when you give it a voice and a face and these characteristics, a personality.
Mhm.
It's interesting what can happen to the human brain, right? When we think that it's real,
Yeah.
almost as if we're falling in love with a game character,
Yeah.
which was sadly the case for a young teenager who fell in love with, I believe it was Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. And then suddenly,
Like in the TV series?
yeah, I believe it was character AI, had a Daenerys replica that
Yeah,
this
yeah.
kid could talk to. And then they developed a close relationship.
Whoa.
Some would say romantic relationship,
Right.
at least from what we know about the information. And sadly, he died by suicide after the chatbot. Again, a lot of this is alleged because it's still under litigation and stuff like that. But the allegations are that the chatbot led him to do it and coached him toward choosing that option as the more realistic option, something to the
Right.
effect of "come join me on my side" sort of thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's serious, and I don't share that here to alarm. I share
Yeah.
that here to educate.
Yeah.
I just think this stuff is not just free and fun.
Mhm.
It is also quite catastrophic and dangerous, right? When we lean into it too far without guardrails.
Right.
So that's why this stuff needs guardrails, and that's why I'm a really big fan and proponent of. I do not support synthetic relationships,
Mhm.
these false, fake relationships with these companions for
Right.
anyone under 18. I don't think that is healthy. I don't think that is a natural form of development. I don't think that sets anyone up for success, at least the way that they're currently built.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to be very discerning about even letting kids use ChatGPT for that companionship component, because you can easily start to talk to it like it's your friend.
Yeah.
Yep. And it will develop a very close, what is called a sycophantic relationship. Have you heard of that term?
I have. I think
Sycophantic.
you have said it before.
Sycophantic is where it's really just giving you all positives, and it's saying that you're the best and you're excellent. Oh my God, you're so smart. You're
Yeah.
amazing. And so it essentially is just giving you all this positive affirmation and validation
Mm.
without knowing you, without actually knowing whether or not those things are true.
Right.
And they're typically not true because they're really extreme forms of praise and over validation,
Oh my
something
God.
that no one needs. Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. So yeah,
A
so
lot.
heavy stuff. But maybe we are due for a resurface.
Maybe you know what? If there was ever time to resurface, it's now.
Yes. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Take a quick break. We'll come back
Mhm.
and we'll return to our trusty segment,
Okay. let's do
asking
it.
for a friend.
Let's do it. Hopefully, it's a nice one.
Okay.
Oh, watch it be really dark.
Oh no. Okay. BRB.
BRB. I was going to say before we go into our final segment, asking for a friend or tried and true. Normally, we like to thread the needle, but I feel like you threaded the needle
Cool.
quite accurately. Do you not?
I
feel-
do.
Do you feel that way?
I do.
Cool. All right. Well, at the end of every single podcast, Jakey and I, we like to resurface. We like to leave off on with a little bit of levity. And so we have this tried and true final segment called
true.
Asking for a Friend, where you, the lovely listeners, can submit anonymously a question or a query, a quandary, anything.
It's true.
And we'll try to answer it as friends. So without further ado,
And without further ado,
it's time for
Asking for a Friend. Cue the music. Okay, listen. I read the last one.
Yeah.
You're gonna reach your grubby little paws in here,
And into the asking for a friend box.
This is your turn. You're gonna pull
Okay,
it.
this is my turn.
You're pulling it out.
Okay, so our lovely listener asking for a friend says, a friend wants to know how to stop overthinking a text they sent 3 days ago that the other person definitely doesn't even remember. I'm assuming the friend is you. So cheeky. So basically, how do you stop overthinking a text that you sent 3 days ago that's probably like the person has forgotten about it?
Maybe another good question to ask is like, how do you stop overthinking anything? Whether it's a text message you sent or something you said in person at a meeting,
Yeah.
something you said at the party
How do you, as a friend?
last Wednesday.
How do you?
I just
I just stop.
well, so here's the thing. in the realm of advice around this kind of stuff,
Mhm.
I find myself to be pretty bad at advice giving because I don't have a sticky brain. I don't really hang on to things.
Oh,
I can just sort of like
move on.
release it down the river.
I'm so jealous of you.
I
I've never been more jealous of you.
I just
Like, I'm jealous of your hair,
and
but I am more jealous of the fact that you do not have a sticky brain.
and I
Yeah.
and I the reason I can't really give advice around it because I don't think I've done anything about it. I don't think there's not one thing I did or like 1, 2, 3 things that I'm like, oh, here's what you do. Step 1. I'm more kind of just practice under the like, is it impacting me right now?
Mm.
And yes, I address the emotions that come up, but I don't get lost in the story. I don't get lost in the thoughts. I don't get lost in the quasi making of
Yeah.
what could also be true. I'm a more kind of logical, factual person in these scenarios.
Mm.
And so I'm just sort of like, here's what I know. Here's what I said. I said that thing. It made that person uncomfortable. I'm feeling incredibly guilty about it, or I'm feeling like a dumbass.
Mhm.
I'm feeling like so embarrassed, or I'm feeling so silly. All those perfectionism parts absolutely get tugged on in those moments.
Mhm.
But I think I am sort of like okay, whatever. Whatever. I said it and I'll clean up the mess if it becomes one.
Okay, that's interesting because I do the same thing.
Okay, great.
But
So where's the jealousy?
because I feel like I naturally fall into the thing of where I hold on to things.
Right.
But
Like a grudge?
no, but because here's the thing. Here's the secret to Simon's brain is I'm really hard at not sharing with someone if I feel
Mhm.
something.
Oh,
So grudges are really hard for me.
right. Because you don't hang on to it long enough privately.
Right.
For
Correct.
it to-
Because I'm like,
For it to stew
because
and
like,
boil.
how are you? I'm like, you know what? It's really funny that you asked me that, Jake, because
Yeah.
you know what? You said that thing and blah, blah.
Oh
You
my
know?
God, me at the Traders last year where I was
Terrible.
fully confronting you.
You,
When it was like I came up to
I'm
you and
not
I was like,
playing games
you're,
with you anymore.
you're talking about
You're
me.
talking about me. Yes. And I said, I absolutely am not talking about you. It is so frustrating.
You're
because
talking about me.
I'll have you know, this is my
And you're
thing.
like, no, I wasn't. It's like,
You and I,
I want you to be talking about me,
Yeah.
so I'm right.
but you and I
Yeah.
would be excellent together if we worked together
On a team.
on those
A team game.
on those things.
A team
The
game.
problem is that we start to doubt each other immediately.
We're not on a team.
No. I'm
No.
like, well, I don't trust you.
We start from a place
and then
of,
you go, I don't trust you.
I don't trust
I'm
you.
like, well, why not? Because I don't trust you. Because you're too smart.
I just don't.
I just don't
I
trust
just
you.
don't.
It's bad. But anyways, I would say the overthinking piece, I think for me, it's you do to like it's almost like I don't know, I'm just thinking in the realm of a text, right? Like usually overcorrect, like you know when you say you send a joke and then you're like, haha, that was a joke. Usually sucks. So just like if you're gonna say a joke or you're gonna say something, just say it. And if they respond, see how they respond first before you jump in to try to like curate the response.
Yeah.
Right. So just in the realm of texting, right? I'm usually just like texts are so fleeting anyways.
Totally.
Right. And like you never know when you catch someone. Right. So they could just be like on their way in between like subway stops or like about to jump into a meeting or just like have just got home. They read it and they put their phone down. Like I do all of these things myself. Right. So it's like, well, just benefit of the doubt. This person they probably don't care as much as you care.
Totally. And we also have this like habit of like making a meaning out of a molehill. Like we don't actually like
Right.
it doesn't, sometimes it's not that deep.
Yeah.
So like we tend to deep it, right? We kind of like make it this big thing when it was never
Yeah.
that deep.
So to answer this person's question, I find like if I feel like I have that impulse of like, oh, I need to step in, or I'm like, I'm thinking too much about it, I just like notice that I'm doing that, and I'm like, all right, we can like stand down.
Totally.
Like the guard, like stand down. We're good. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Totally.
It's usually in those moments I'm like, do the opposite.
do,
And then that helps me, truly.
do the opposite.
Do the opposite of what the impulse is
I
telling
want to
you.
do this first thing, but I'm going to do the opposite
Like, no,
because
we're
that's
gonna do the
I know
opposite.
that will be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it usually is. And
I
then,
actually think that's great advice.
thanks.
Yeah.
I'm starting a podcast called Advice.
I love it.
Quasies for Quasies.
Listen, if you like what you heard,
And if you didn't,
keep it pushing.
keep it pushing.
As we
Mary.
said, that's the energy, the vibe for
That's the
for, I
energy for
guess, for this year.
2026.
And so please like, comment, subscribe, get in
Yeah.
touch with us, send us a DM.
Yeah.
We love your questions. We also love your messages.
Yeah.
And we also love your
Energy.
no,
Your shoes.
I was gonna say something.
Efforts.
How do you say like when people like listen to things? We like your
Como se
viewership or like
dice?
we like your attention.
We
Anyway.
like your.
How about this?
Yeah.
Attention is a very precious resource in this economy,
Mhm.
and so we love that you give yours to us. Okay, it's time to end. I think.
Yeah. I think we talked too much. We went too deep, and we like have never recovered.
Holy
We're like, how do we
Hannah.
do this?
Oh my god!
All right. See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
This isn't therapy.
Come si dice?